All right, let's dive right into this. 5,000 watts versus a 5 kVA inverter. If you've ever found yourself staring at a spec sheet trying to figure out your backup power, you have absolutely seen these two numbers. They look virtually identical, right? But here's the thing. Blindly assuming they're interchangeable is a massive trap. So welcome to this explainer, where we're going to decode this whole inverter mystery once and for all.
So the million-dollar question, is a 5,000-watt inverter actually the exact same thing as a 5 kVA inverter? Honestly, it's so easy to just glance at the numbers, assume they're identical units of measurement, and hit that purchase button. But, as it turns out, while they both undeniably measure electrical power in a sense, they are looking at completely different aspects of capacity. To really understand what you're buying, we've got to get our terms straight first.
First up, let's talk about the watt. A watt, usually just represented by a W, is the actual, tangible power that your appliances consume to do their jobs. It's the real, physical work happening in your house right now. When you sit down and turn on your 100-watt TV to watch a movie, or you flip on a 75-watt fan, or maybe you're boiling water in a 1,500-watt electric kettle, you are dealing directly with watts. It's the hard, fast measurement of the actual energy your stuff demands from the electrical system at any given moment just to function.
But here's where it gets super interesting, the kVA, or kilovolt amperes. This metric represents something called apparent power. So instead of measuring the actual energy being consumed by your TV or your kettle, kVA is typically the rating stamped on the hardware itself. You'll see this on generators, on UPS backup systems, and of course on most solar inverters. Basically, it tells you the total amount of power that the system is theoretically capable of supplying to your home. It's the system's overall potential, not necessarily the exact usable power that actually makes it to your devices.
To really put this into perspective, think of kVA as the total volume of a glass, and watts as the amount of actual liquid inside it that you get to drink. Sometimes the glass is full to the brim, but sometimes it has a lot of foam. You absolutely need to know both metrics, but you literally cannot treat them as the exact same thing when you're relying on them to keep your lights on. On one side, we have watts, the actual power consumed by your life and your appliances. On the exact opposite side, we have kVA, the apparent power rating of the machine trying to supply that electricity. Two entirely different aspects of the system's capacity.
Okay, so the absolutely crucial point here is figuring out how these two measurements actually connect to each other. Like, why isn't a completely full glass always guaranteed? Well, that brings us to the missing link, the hidden culprit behind so many of these sizing mysteries, the power factor, which you'll often see abbreviated as just PF. The power factor is essentially the secret sauce. It dictates the exact relationship between the apparent power your inverter can produce and the actual real power your appliances get to use. Without knowing the power factor, trying to compare watts to kVA is, well, it's pretty much impossible.
So let's look at the math for a second, and don't worry, it's super simple. To find your actual usable power in kilowatts, that's kW, where 1 kilowatt is just 1,000 watts, you simply take your apparent power, the kVA rating, and multiply it by this power factor. So the formula is literally just kW equals kVA times PF. This equation is the vital bridge. It is the one and only way to convert what the machine says it can do theoretically on paper into the actual, usable power you can rely on to run your kettle, your fan, and your TV.
Now this is exactly where the rubber meets the road. Historically, and you still see this a lot with older UPS systems or standard gas generators, the power factor sits at about 0.8. What does that mean? Well, to run exactly 5 kilowatts of appliances, a 5 kVA generator just won't cut it. You'd actually need a 6.25 kVA generator to handle it, because 5 divided by 0.8 is 6.25. But contrast that with modern hybrid solar inverters. A lot of these newer high-tech units operate with a perfect unity power factor of 1.0. In that specific scenario, multiplying by 1 means 5 kVA perfectly equals 5,000 watts. That blew my mind a bit, because it perfectly illustrates why assuming a 1-to-1 ratio across the board is so incredibly dangerous. If you buy a 5 kVA machine with a 0.8 power factor, expecting it to run 5,000 watts of your gear, you are absolutely going to fall short and overload your system. You have got to check the manufacturer specs every single time.
Of course, simply doing that one quick math equation isn't the whole story. Figuring out the power factor is really just step one. To properly size an inverter so that your house doesn't suddenly go dark on you, a professional installer has to evaluate a whole checklist of critical variables well beyond just matching the top-line watts and kVA. We're talking surge current, continuous load, very specific battery and solar specs, load diversity, and your required backup time during an outage. It's a lot, right?
Let's unpack a couple of the really crucial ones that almost always catch people by surprise.
So, two of the biggest trip-ups are surge current versus continuous load. This is a fascinating dynamic. Continuous load is simply the steady, baseline power required to keep an appliance running once it's already turned on and humming along nicely. But surge current, man, that is the massive, instantaneous power spike required just to start certain appliances up in the first place, particularly anything with a motor. Think refrigerators, air conditioners, water pumps. That starting spike can easily be double or even triple the running wattage. You might do the math and think you have enough continuous power, but if your inverter's kVA rating can't handle that massive momentary surge, the whole system will just trip and shut down the very second your fridge kicks on.
And then there's this really crucial concept called load diversity. Basically, this is the simple but incredibly powerful understanding that not every single appliance in your home or business is going to be running at the exact same time. Think about it. You are probably not boiling the electric kettle while simultaneously running the microwave, the vacuum cleaner, and a heavy-duty power saw in the garage all at the exact same millisecond, right? A smart, professionally audited setup doesn't just blindly add up the absolute maximum wattage of every single device you own. If you did that, you'd end up buying this massively oversized, incredibly expensive inverter that you really don't need. Load diversity strategically calculates your realistic concurrent usage to find that perfect middle ground. Which brings us to a huge takeaway from our source material for this explainer. The most effective solar system is not necessarily the largest one, but the one properly sized specifically for your needs. It turns out, looking over the fence and just copying your neighbor's setup is a massive trap. Every single home and business has totally unique energy requirements. Your neighbor's house might have totally different appliances, different surge needs, and a different power factor on their specific hardware. If you just copy them without doing a custom audit, you are likely looking at frequent tripping, system overloads, and just a whole lot of frustration. Customized setups are absolutely non-negotiable if you want a reliable system.
So, that leaves us with a final, kind of provocative thought to consider today. If you already have a solar setup or a backup generator, and your system frequently trips when you turn things on, is the hardware actually undersized? Or, based on what we've learned today, did you perhaps just miscalculate the power factor? Maybe you assumed your 5kVA inverter was giving you a full 5,000 watts, but it's actually running at a 0.8 power factor and literally starving your appliances of the energy they need. I highly encourage you to go dig out your manuals, check those manufacturer specs, and rethink your true energy requirements. Do the math, because when it comes to keeping your life powered, knowing the difference between what's apparent and what's real makes all the difference. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I hope it helps you to code your own inverter mystery.